I am deep inside someone who likes to build stuff, hardware, software, technology, etc. I learned over the years that the best way to build something is with a kick-ass team around you and a business around you. So for me, it was very natural to evolve from a technologist to someone who can scale his thoughts and ideas with an amazing team and turn it into a business that has scale and the opportunity to go big. So yes, to me it was natural, but that's my personal journey.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley in partnership with Leumitech, sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Synergy Global, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, Birthright Excel, Serona Partners, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders Meet Amir Orad, the CEO of Sisense. Amir is Sisense CEO and chairman of the board, focusing on infusing analytics and business intelligence in every application and every user. Amir has led startups to become industry leaders with hundreds of millions in revenue and multiple M&As. He is a serial entrepreneur specializing in growing big data and cybersecurity businesses with over 25 years of experience as a leader in these fields. During his previous tenure at NICE Actimize, he grew the business 10x to a $200 million revenue run rate. Previously, he was co-founder of Cyota, which he sold to RSA Security. He lives in New York, father of three, holds an MBA from Columbia University, and has been acknowledged as a top 50 SaaS CEO. All right, Amir Orad, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders all the way from New York. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining here, Amir. Wow, an incredible journey. I'm going to get so tired just from reading this incredible journey that you're on, but just, basic highlights that just simplify this incredible journey that you have from being the co-founder and executive vice president of product and chief marketing officer of Cyota, acquired by RSA Security for over $100 million, $145 million to be exact, and then CEO of NICE Actimize with $200 million of revenue run rate, and now CEO of Sisense, talking about analytics and AI and talking about this transition from cyber to analytics and AI and how they're sort of converging, if they're converging. And I'm excited to talk to you about what it means to be a serial entrepreneur in your mind and continuing to work so freaking hard, even though you've done so much. And I want to get into your brain with that. So Amir, thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Excited to be here.
Thank you. Who are you, Amir? I just said, the crazy shopping list of things you've done, but who in essence is Amir Orad?
Yeah, it's quite simple. I'm a geek, kind of deep inside. I'm a geek that played with computers since I was a child. Back then, that was Commodore 64, basic assembly, Pascal, C, C++ journey. That led me to become I don't know, today you'll call it a hacker. Back then, you'll call it a whiz kid, whatever you call it. Playing with technology before it was a common thing. Using the internet when it was Usenet and Gopher and whatever you call it back then, BBSs, that led me to be identified by 8200 in Israel and spent 6 years building really cutting edge technology around data, cyber, analytics, security, and many other things.
And I just have to say that, today a lot of people are dealing with cyber, but you were doing that within the IDF at a time where cyber didn't really exist in the world. It was, pretty much as internet was breaking out.
This was 1994, 1995. No one had a clue what we were talking about. This was ahead of its time. We created or put the railroads or the foundation for what today is common in every organization out there, both in terms of cyber and in terms of data and analytics. And again, it was an opportunity of a lifetime. Really, I would, in a heartbeat, return to do it. I spent 6 years doing it, and finishing a degree in parallel because I kind of knew computer science by then. And the day I left, this was the end of 1999, early 2000. There's only one thing you do as a technologist in that time, and that is start a company. So I became a co-founder of a company called Cyota. that was initially in the payments and anti-fraud space, and then became a cybersecurity company. Built an amazing technology for authentication. Every day, Michael, you use what we invented. It's called risk-based authentication. It's what you use to log into Google or Facebook or Bank of America. That is that you log in and you get a text message saying, this is a strange activity, put your code in here. And it's really a two-factor authentication done dynamically based on a risk profile using analytics. So it was a SaaS company, a cyber company, an analytics company in the year 2000, before those things were a thing. And today everyone uses them. Spent 7 years leading product, delivery, marketing, and so on in that company. Sold it to RSA Security, as you said, for over 100 million, which back in the day was probably like a unicorn these days. And then I moved to my second startup. I joined it early on. I was not a founder, but I
I
joined
mean,
it
I
early
wanna I
on. A
wanna
company called,
stop you for a second and
yeah.
ask. You mentioned that it was a trivial, almost a trivial thing that you go out of and after the work that you've done and start a company. But I'm trying to understand: are you a geek? Are you an entrepreneur? Today you're leading almost 1,000 people, maybe even more with Sisense. It doesn't, was it really a trivial decision to go and start a company?
Uh, I am deep inside someone who likes to build stuff, hardware, software, technology, etc. I learned over the years that the best way to build something is with a kick-ass team around you and a business around you. So for me, it was very natural to evolve from a technologist to someone who can scale his thoughts and ideas with an amazing team and turn it into a business that has scale and the opportunity to go big. So yes, to me it was natural, but that's my personal journey. And that's why company number two, I didn't feel the need to be the founder. I joined an amazing team and built it to the next level, all the way to a $200 million financial crime and risk management company. Again, using deep analytics to make decisions, this time not for online security, but for fraud and money laundering and market abuse and insider trading. That became part of NICE system, and it's today the fastest growing business within NICE system, a very large public company. So I spent 8-9 years doing that, and getting to about 100,000 people, and it was exciting. It was really amazing to do. And then after a short break, I started number three, which is, by the way, the number of my kids. I have as many kids as I have startups by now. 3 kids, 3 startups. And I joined Sisense. And the reason I joined Sisense was that I built my own analytics and AI technology at company number one and company number two. And when I met the Sisense team, I realized here we can build a platform that lets anyone build analytics in their products in an easy way and embed them in their products and business. So I joined Sisense early on. That was 7 years ago. It was a single-digit revenue company. Where today we just announced over $140 million revenue company, and working with the likes or empowering the likes of, the tech companies of UiPath or Uber or Seismic and Outreach, all the way to big corporations like NASDAQ and GE and Instacart, etc. And the beauty is that we are giving those companies similar technology that once upon a time I had to build myself. And now someone can buy a platform and inject it in the cloud on top of their existing product or service they're building. So to me, it was a natural progression and evolution as kind of the cyber and security markets and the analytics markets collided into building a platform that can help others do the same. And here we are,
So
20 years after.
I'm curious to know where will be the fourth startup, the fourth kid, but I'll leave that for post recording. Now,
Three kids
Amir,
is a lot.
3 startups is also a lot. I have to ask, you're starting first of all, you said something that was really interesting to me. You said, that you realized that the power that you have is to take your geekiness and scale it with a team of kick-ass engineers, right? That mindset.
Yeah.
of ego aside and taking that same, intrinsic geekiness and motivation, but now empowering a team of really great people to build that with you. Where did you learn that? Was that the IDF? Was that in your first startup?
No, it started already in the IDF, the realization that having a great idea and writing code by yourself is not the best way to achieve success. And it depends how you define success. If you count the lines of code you write, then you need to be a developer for life. If you look at it as turning a whiteboard image diagram into a established, successful, highly used piece of technology, then it doesn't matter who writes the code. What matters is that you translate an idea into a working technology. And then when you think about the technology, the only way to get people to use it and turn it from a working technology to something that is vastly used is to build a business around it. So those were kind of the thoughts. And that was my personal evolution from a developer to an R&D leader to a product manager, and then go to market with sales and marketing. Because end of day, to write beautiful code that sits on your hard drive and is not used by anyone doesn't matter. At least to me, doesn't matter. It's not enough. And so that was my personal evolution, and also learning over time. I actually don't care whose idea is it, as long as I'm in love with it. It's as much as it is mine as someone else. So that was also kind of a maturity curve I went through in my life.
A long time ago, it seems you've already realized that data is eating the world, and that make
Yeah.
data-driven decisions go hand in hand with the cybersecurity space. You're mentioning that you've built these sectors within, as prominent parts of your previous businesses, and now you've joined the third company, Sisense, that is a world leader in this field. How do you see these two industries converging?
Oh, to me, it's very, very clear. The era of, and I recall it, I've been there, of writing hard coded antivirus signatures and firewall rules and ports opening and closing and watching logs coming out from various systems, that era is gone. Not because of technology innovation, that's the way it's gone. It's gone because it doesn't work against the bad guys who are just faster and better than a hard-coded solution. So you have to move into dynamic profiling and automatic creation, and you have too much data you can handle as a human being, so you need to build systems to handle it. And that leads naturally to machine learning and AI for both detection and triage and defense and protection. It's just the natural evolution in order to survive and be relevant in this cat and mouse type of field. By the way, it's also happening in medical care. That was an era where you take a doctor with 30 years of experience and that read 10,000 pages in books over his life, her life, and you find out that one AI model is able to run on more cases and read more pages of knowledge than any doctor can do on the planet. And that machine can apparently do a better job identifying 99% of the images and symptoms and what have you. So again, in the cat and mouse of fighting diseases or fighting crime, it's the only way to do it in scale, in efficiently. So I truly believe that, and I see it. I've seen it in my journey, and I see it with Sisense every day with the customers we work with.
Now, with the companies that you're running, what something that they have in
Mm-hmm.
common is that they're enablers for other companies to take ownership of their processes, work better,
Yep.
understand the world better, and take whatever offering they have and be able to serve it in the most meaningful way and not be, taken back by decisions and by the lack of knowledge. Where is the next
Mm-hmm.
leap in your eyes in what businesses around the world need in order to become better? So right now you're doing perhaps one of the most critical things, which is the data question. What is left, to help optimize?
Wow. everything can be optimized. Everything can be optimized. You see it every day. And you have some cutting edge companies that are ahead of the market, and the market will take 20 years to follow. But think about the recommendation systems around you. Think about the automatic healthcare system in some places. Think about COVID accelerating remote learning that can be totally disrupted. Think about what Tesla is doing and how our transportation systems will totally change. Think about every experience in our life can be optimized. And that optimization will result in interesting things, right? Will be high quality care, education, entertainment, etc. More free time. You have to fill that free time with something because people don't want to be bored. Jobs will change. So that evolution has been going on for tens of thousands of years from the invention of the wheel, but it's accelerating, and it's impacting now every day of our life. I see it. I have a ring that tracks my sleep and tells me how I can sleep better. I would have never thought someone would invent a ring that tells me how I can sleep better, but that's happening right now, and that's a everyday usage. I'm on the board of a company using AI and IoT, company called Ava, Swiss company, to help women get pregnant without the use of, intrusive techniques or other treatments. And it's amazingly accurate. Over 30,000 babies were born thanks to that AI that
Wow.
personalizes the medical care and the recommendation system to a single individual versus a generic healthcare system dealing with averages and generic treatments. So I think our entire life is being um, evolved in front of our eyes.
Incredible. Not every day that I get to speak to somebody who wakes up and is leading a ship of 1,000 people. Uh, what is that like? What concerns you as a leader? Because before we're geeking out about Commodore 65 or 64, you see, I'm too young that to even know the number, and
Yeah.
we're geeking out
No,
about
but in
the
computers there is no 65.
there is no 65 itself, of course, but
Yeah.
we're talking about the Barzelim, right? The core
Yeah.
piece of it, and all of a sudden now you're leading this crazy ship. Um, how is it? What do you have to concern yourself with?
You know what you find? That the hardware is really important, but the wetware, as they call it, the humans around it, are more important. And as you scale a company, the challenges around culture, around global teams, during COVID about culture drift, which is a real risk as you scale in a virtual reality, the need to focus more and more teams and align them, the need to empower, but still be very, very aligned operationally. Those are all real challenges. And they're actually more complex than technology because you deal with humans versus robots. You get the advantage of that, which is innovation and thinking outside the box and many other things, but you get the disadvantages that humans are very different from each other, and helping a large team unite is hard work. It's hard work.
Right. Is it? Do you feel like you have a grasp on what's happening in a 1,000 person company? I imagine when you're leading a team, or when you're leading even 2 dozen people, you sort of know what's happening. Who's that? What was everybody doing? And now I can't imagine that you can even keep track of a third of what's happening in the company. And sort of your role is now to guide everybody and empower everybody to be their own micro leaders, right?
Yeah. First, you cannot do it. You need to rely on a very strong leadership team. Second, my personal style, and it doesn't make it the correct style, purely my personal style is to understand the details in a sampled way, right? In a representative way, in order to build the mental image in my head of what's going on. Other people don't do that. They do it more high level. I like to connect the details to the high level. It helps me understand and really understand what's going on. You never truly know what's going on, right? It's only a mental model you build of what's going on. But I believe in a very accessible uh, leadership style that allows people and customers and prospects to talk to me more than other people. I find it helpful for me, and that's how I stay connected with reality. But there's,
Beautiful.
you know what I learned over the last 20 years, 25 years? There's no one way to lead. There's no one way to manage. There's no one correct CEO style. Companies are built around the specific profile of the people and the leaders in them, and many different styles can work as successfully at the end. And that took me some time to understand. I thought there's some ideal, perfect way to do it. There isn't.
Right. Inspiration. Where do you get that from? You have to continuously innovate, involve, inspire others to be their best. Where do you get your own personal inspiration?
Number one, family. End of day. My wife is probably my best role model. She's amazing. She's built, by the way, 2 startups and 2 nonprofits. So I'm behind everyone. So home and the ability to disconnect and be at home, and do that switching between the modes. I still play computer games. I love it. Different strategy games, civilization, and the like. That allows me to disconnect and go and build some cities. I love going out and just enjoying life. Rock concerts are back now with COVID. I literally bought, almost 12 tickets, 12 different shows I'm going
Wow.
to in the next few months. High energy. I came to Tel Aviv. We had Guns N' Roses just before COVID hit, I think. It was just before COVID hit. So yeah, you know, you need
I
to
love
live
it.
hard and work hard, not just one of the two.
What 100%, and I hope to see you at Billy Joel's concert in Madison Square Garden. It will be a dream come true for me. Uh, but no, but really, Amir, thank you so much for this time and for the inspiration and for the authenticity behind the geekiness behind the passion to create impact. The intentionality with which you lead and with which you innovate and run businesses, the egoless approach of saying, you know what, it doesn't have to be my own idea. As long as I love the idea, I can put myself and the title aside and I can come in and be a part of the team. And obviously, time and time again, you're taking these businesses and where you left them is not where you came in. And so just thank you for this time. I know how busy you are, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you. Same for you.